Hi, welcome to the Midtown Toronto. Beautiful condos behind me, some apartments, buildings, houses on other side of this parking lot. And if you're planning to rent a place this year or just in the next 100 days, it's a perfect time to do it. Prices goes down, much more inventory to choose of, but competition still exists. And how to be prepared, how to win the best deal for you and left competition behind. Watch this video to the end. I'll show you 5 easy steps how to be prepared and win the best deal for you. Hi, welcome to Living, Selling, Buying and Renting in Toronto YouTube channel with the real estate accent. My name is Oleg Lakrits. I'm realtor with Sutton Group-Admiral Realty and I'm working in this beautiful city. Well, enough about me. Let's get back to the business. Hi again. I'm back to my office, and now let's talk about the steps that I have to take in order to rent the property anywhere in Province Ontario, and particularly in Greater Toronto area. And this is the same steps that no matter if you're trying to rent the condo apartment or house, semi-detached townhome, condo townhouse from the private landlord, or if you try to get the apartment on a big apartment building and trying to deal with the big rental company. So let's start from the beginning, from the first step, and I call it honest conversation with yourself. You already know that you're gonna rent a new home, and you already have some ideas why you have to do it, when you have to do it. So I suggest you to transfer all these thoughts on a paper. Take a blank paper and start writing the questions. The most important question is going to be where you're going to live, why I want to live there, what's my budget, and when I have to move, and any other questions that you have to. And start answering questions. The more answers you're gonna put there, the more clear picture it's gonna be in the head. And also, I strongly recommend and suggest to keep this paper. And then when you start hunting for your next home, this paper gonna be, it's like a compass, and it's gonna speed up your move in the right and proper direction. So it's going to be very helpful in your future steps. When you put these questions, try to be honest with yourself. If you're gonna do it, if you're gonna live together with your spouse, your partner, maybe your roommates, I strongly recommend do this exercise together. And the more answer is going to be on the paper, the much better picture you're going to have. Where you have to live, why you have to live, what's attracting you. For example, I want to live in which part of GTA, so Brampton, Scarborough, North York, Thornhill, Oakville. Why I have to live there? It's close to my work. It has very good parks, great shopping, great restaurants, entertainment districts, best nightclubs in GTA. Whatever you want, whatever is urging you to live there and to change your place where you're living, the reasons, the more clear is going to be picture, the much easier for you going to be to find your new home. Also, very important question, it's your budget. What's your budget? How much you could spend on the rent? In case if transportation involved, how much is going to be on transportation? My suggestion: do not rely only on TTC unless it's downtown and just one or two steps to just few minutes on streetcars or maybe subway stations. But if it's longer, if it involves much longer time to travel, do I need the parking? What I'm gonna use? Uber? How much is gonna cost me on my daily basis? So all this has to be taken into consideration. So this is first step, honest conversation. It's very, very important part because I'm going to repeat this again. It's going to make the picture of your future home area, amenities, schools if you need it, how it's proximity to the work, to the shopping, to the area of your interests, parks. I don't know. It's cool, nice view, nice lake view. So all this gonna give you a clear picture of your future home. The second step, as soon as they're very, very close, the first and second step. But I want to make stress on this next step. I call it preparation. I want to start out that it's very, very important part. This is the part where you're going to be preparing yourself for the new, very important step that's called negotiation and securing the deal. So you have to prepare your financial documents, your credit report, and your supportive documents, any supportive documents. So you need, because, and why, a lot of people asking, why I have to give you this paperwork, why I have to have them. This is, consider this as your business card. The future landlord, he never met you. He doesn't know you. And he has no understanding how good person you are. So your business card, your documents gonna create a nice picture in the mind of your future landlord that's gonna help you to secure the best deal. So you're gonna be preparing the next documents. First, your employment documents. So you're gonna have to ask, if you're employed by employer, you have to ask for the letter of employment. It has to be signed by your employer, and it must be the most recent employment letter. It has to state your current position, your history with the company, for how long you have been employed by this company, when you start, all your different positions with the company, if you have one, your current salary or hourly rate, and your contact information of your employer. Also, you have to provide with the letter of employment your recent pay stubs. Usually, it's 2 recent pay stubs is enough. That support the information that comes from the employment letter. The next very important piece of documentation that you have to provide your landlord, that you have to submit to landlord together with your future offer, it's a credit report, full credit report. I want to repeat, full credit report. My suggestion: there are different companies on the market. Always get your full report from Equifax. You could register online. I believe the first 2 or 3 reports are free. Then you have to pay some kind of membership. I don't know. I don't remember. You're gonna figure out this. Or you could come to the head office of Equifax, I believe somewhere in downtown. And if you come personally physically to the office, they're gonna provide you full credit report for free. They're gonna print it out, so it's gonna be in your hands. Why Equifax? In real estate industry, and considered to be the most accurate and the most full credit report in our province. There are other companies as a TransUnion, but any other, get the Equifax and the full report, not just the first page with the score, full credit report, so your credit history. It's I see already some questions from the people who saying that I self-employed, I'm working for myself, I have my own business. What's going to be in this case? I don't have letter of employment. In this case, you have to provide financial statement from your company. You probably going to be asked for the few notice of assessment, for few last, usually it's 2 notice of assessment from the Canadian Revenue Agency, and most likely gonna ask you for the statement from the bank just to prove that you have enough funds to rent this property. Also, I know that people who are new to our country, who is moving to Toronto, who are relocating to Toronto, especially if they're doing this abroad, they don't have employment history here in Canada, and the most likely they're going to have a credit report from the Canadian Equifax, equifax.ca. No problem. In this case, you know how to deal with this in this situation. So about employment, you have to, most likely if you're relocating here, you already secured the employment with one of the companies within Toronto. So ask them about the contract, ask them about the letter that, yes, this person is employed, he's coming abroad, the letter that explains this. He's going to be working from that date till what's the length of the contract, 1, 2, 3, 5 years, and his salary going to be that. Or hourly rate going to be that. Also, you could provide the letter from your current employer in your country that states that you've been employed there, you're a professional, just to prove that you're not new to this profession, you know what you're doing, and you're a serious person with the serious profession. Also, in terms of credit report, because you're new to Canada, of course, you don't have credit score, or your credit score going to be extremely low. Because you don't have any relationship with the Canadian financial institutions. So in this case, we could explain this to the landlord as well, your agent or any company, or you could provide some documentation if your country has some kind of similar system of the evaluating of your credit situation within your country. I've seen this paper from the States. I've seen similar papers from the Germany, I believe from France, from Europe. So most likely there is something similar in your country where you're coming from to Toronto. So bring this paperwork. In these days and age, it's very easy to contact. Our world become more global, so it's much easier to check even information from abroad as well. And of course, most likely you're gonna provide some kind of financial statements that you have some funds that's gonna be supportive for you during this first year in Canada. So when it is prepared, also talk to your friends, talk to your people, the professionals that you're dealing, your dentist, your lawyer, your kind of your current landlord, who could provide you references that's gonna
say, yes, I know this person, yes, he's very good, he was paid on time, no problem at all, no noise, yes, very responsible, bright person, everything good. So, because you're going to be asked to provide this information, so as faster as you can create this package of the documentation, much easier going to be for you to submit the offer and be ahead of your competition. Yes, even on this market that it's much better for the tenants. It's a lot of properties to choose, much easier. It's still for the very good properties, it's still competition, and you might be in a situation when landlord going to be considering few possible tenants. So the better package of the documents you have prepared, the better them you're ready to submit. You could win just because you are prepared, and this shows you from the good side as well. So we finished with preparation. You prepared. So now you're coming to the third stage, hunting. Probably the most fun living here in this stage. So I strongly recommend, yes, you could deal and find the property, negotiate by your own. And in case of big rental corporations, big rental buildings, most likely you're going to do it by your own because they're not working with the real estate agents. They're not paying our commission because the commission paid by the landlord to their agent, and that agent shared commission with me. So in this case, I got secured my pay for the work for you, but you don't pay me if you're a tenant and I'm representing interest. My commission is secure, so for me it doesn't matter that property that in the right tower on the west tower in other property. For me, it doesn't matter. For me, is more important your interest and the peace of mind for you as my client. So I strongly recommend to have real estate agent representing you because most likely if you're dealing with the private landlord, he already has his own agent. It's like you're going to the court and you're going to use your as a lawyer, the lawyer from other side that you're fighting in a court of law, which is some kind of oxymoron situation. So I'm strongly recommend you have your own agent. Discuss with your agent your needs. Remember the paper from with the questions and answers from the first stage. So this paper gonna help your agent understand much better what your needs, what you're expecting, and where we have to go and fight for hunting, and where he has to find the property for you, and what is the best property should provide for your interest. So he's gonna set up a MLS system, he's gonna do the search, and he's gonna send you some information, some listings, and then he's gonna set up appointment, and you're gonna go together with him and see the properties. I strongly suggest and recommend that do not really trust and do not really rely on the pictures. You have to go and see by yourself, by your own eyes, because sometimes pictures, they done to make property looks good, to make property more attractive in the eyes of the buyers, but you're gonna be live there, so you have to come and take a look because small details could be hiding in the pictures, could be lost in the pictures. But sometimes very small details create the whole feeling about the property and the future home. So you have to go and check the property, and it's always fun. It's always fun. I love it. When I work with tenants and buyers, I love to go and see the property together with them. It's also very important not just take a look on the property inside, but take a look outside. Take a look on the area. Take a look on where's transportation, where's the schools, whatever you want. Remember the paper from the first stage with the answers and questions. That's where it's gonna be very handful for you. If it's condo, always pay attention parking. If it's any parking, if you need the parking, visitor parking, because maybe some friends gonna come from other province or from other states, from the south, and gonna visit you and stay. So you need to find the parking for them. Lockers, is it any lockers? Because sometimes you need some space just to, I don't know, keep your suitcase, a few suitcases. How many elevators? You just consider it like because the more elevators, it's much better. It means that it's not going to be line up to get to your floor. Amenities, because if you're planning and start living in a condo and you're gonna pay the good chunk of money for this, rent is still it's still expensive in GTA compared to it used to be. So you have to use these amenities. You have to access. You're gonna have access to them. Check them. Is it good? Is it suitable for you? Uh, Take a look on the corridors because you're gonna be walking by these corridors. View from the balcony, view from the windows. What's if it has a balcony? What's underneath that balcony? Because sometimes, especially I've seen this a lot in downtown Toronto. The next building is pretty close, and you seems like on a high floor. But if you come to the balcony, take a look. The next floor, the next building, next tower, just few floors down, has this air conditioning rooms where the all equipment for air conditioning in the building just located, and all this noise from the fans and working machinery going to be coming to your open window, for example. So is it going to be noisy because of your neighboring houses or no? Also, if you're renting a house, take a look what's around, what's in the backyard, what's behind the fence of this property. I always love to speak to the people in the building, or if it's a house, I love to speak to the neighbors if there is opportunity. Because these conversations, they give you more and more nice small pieces of information that all together create very good picture about the future home. So I could guarantee you it's going to be very fun to find to go in for hunting for your next home. Please enjoy it responsibly, and eventually you're gonna find the one, the pearl, the beauty, your future home. So now you come to the next stage. It's called negotiation. I call it negotiation or securing this. So you have to submit the offer, or different, if it's rental buildings, they call it different. We call it offer to lease. It's a document. You sign this document. It's usually your real estate agent gonna prepare it for you. It has some standard wording. Usually, it's discussed what's the property gonna be leased, address, conditions of the property, offered price, the terms of the contract, 1 year, 2 years, 6 months. It's discussed. Structure of deposit. Usually, it's first and last month's payment. First, because you move and you start living, so you're paying for the first months upfront. It's usual because in Ontario you're paying for your rent upfront, not by the end of the month. Just on the first day on which month you pay for this month. So you're paying this upfront, and the last months of the term, it's a deposit to securing this deal. So you have to be prepared to provide the check for first and last months. Also, I discussed what's coming with this lease, what's the appliances, what's included, locker, parking, or not at all. It's also discussed what's responsibility of the payments, responsibility, what's included in the lease in terms of the payments. For what paying landlord, and usually it's included in the lease, or there is some separate charges that the tenant has to pay. Most likely it's going to be hydro, so electricity. The tenant has to pay by itself. Cable charges. In some new towers, it could be water charge. Yes, they have some separate meters for the water, and tenant has to pay for this. Common elements and so on and so on. So everything is discussed in this first pages of the offer to lease. Also, the day when the actual rent started, and then it's going to be some schedules. Usually, landlord already supplied his own schedules. Schedule, it's just addition to the offer to lease with the conditions of this agreement. Conditions, usually it's about behavior, that the tenant has to obey the rules of the conduct corporation if it's any, or he has to be lawful, he has to not to do any stupid illegal stuff on the property, not to demolish it, not to do the grow ups, etc., etc. Also discussed what the tenant could do on the property, like or cannot do, like for example, change the coloring, painting. It's all negotiable. Also discussed who's responsible for the repairs. Usually, it's landlord. It's his property, so he's responsible for repairs, unless the tenant somehow damaged the property appliances. In this case, tenant has to pay for the repairs. Also, it's about different conditions, pets, smoking, and so on and so on. At the same time, your agent gonna see these conditions, and I don't know about any other. In my case, I always read the conditions of the landlord and see if it's reflecting the best interest of my client that I already discussed, or I have asked again a little bit more questions what my client expects from the living in that apartment and what's his view, and I always put some conditions that protect my client and change the wordings if it's I find something offensive. So we negotiate. Also, together with those offer lease, we providing all the paperwork from the stage 2, so it's your employment supportive documents, your full credit report, and your references, and any other documents that could help the landlord to get better picture of you as a future and possible tenant. And we start negotiation with the agent. Usually, this part is less known to the landlord and to the tenant, because a lot of communication between agents. We start talking about different parts of the agreement, and we start working on it to have a deal. And every one of the agent who represents the landlord and me as a representing tenant, or vice versa, we all have best interest of our client in mind. So we start working together. We start making this deal to be a win-win situation for every side of the transaction. So it's not only Mr. Trump doing win-win deals. It's most of the Toronto real estate agents, members of Toronto Regional Real Estate Board, doing this on daily basis here in Canada as well. So when everything worked together, documents accepted, when everyone is happy with decision, usually if the tenant has to provide deposit in 24 hours. Usually it's money order or certified check. And it has to be brought to the brokerage, and brokerage landlord, the brokerage who represents the listing brokerage, who represents landlord, you putting it on its own trust accounts. Now these days it's much easier because in one of my recent deals, in one case it was wire transfer, so my client came to his bank branch and they did wire transfer to the listing brokerage. In other case, my client just he transfer whole deposit to their trust account. So it's much easier because when I started a few years, I just got licensed. I remember one deal that I was used to work that we were dealing in December. It was very close to Christmas, so I have to I have to go from. I used to live in North York at the time. I have to go all the way to downtown, pick up the check from my client, and I have to drive all the way to the Brampton to the listing brokerage physically to put this. And it was December. It was one of the first snowstorms, of course, in Toronto. So it was very good. A lot of driving in the snow, but I was on time. I deposited money and I secured the deal for my client. So it was great. It's worth to remember. So these days it's much easier, much faster. Actually, why you have to be prepared and why you have to follow the steps, because rental market is very fast, very everything happened very fast and very dynamic. So deal is secured, negotiated, deposit is done, secured. Basically, it's rented. So now you're coming to the last step. It's moving step. So now you have to start packing your belongings and start preparing your move to the new home. So you need to talk to the moving company in case you need a lot of stuff, if it's a big house or even apartment, doesn't matter. Or you have to rent the moving truck from U-Haul or Home Depot, by the way. You could get the nice cube van there too. Or you could ask your friends or your parents, your relatives to help you. Also, in case if it's a condo apartment, you have to secure elevators for the move. Every apartment, every condo building has its own rules. Maybe there is they're gonna require some deposit. So most likely you're gonna be reminded about this by your agent. If not, please use this video's instructions. If it's condo building, talk to the concierge there and secure the time for the move. Most likely, if you ask your agent, at least if my clients ask me, I always help them and I always offer them the help with the remind them to secure the elevators when they have to get the key. So I help them with the time management of the move. Also, you have to set the time. Most likely it's going to be done by your agent, because usually agent discuss this. Transfer the keys. Also, probably at that time you have to be, before closing, you have to provide proof of the switching accounts for the electricity, and in case of it's water. So it must be switched to your name, and it must be on your name from the date when you start living there. And also you must obtain the tenant insurance for the term of the rent. Usually it's probably it's even standard with $2 million liability. But again, it's going to be asked by the landlord, and it's going to be specified an agreement for how much liability, 1 million or 2 million, they expected to see this insurance. So all this and plus you're going to receive the key, and you have to provide the key deposit. It's also part of the agreement offer to lease, agreement to lease, any extra deposits, for example, damage deposit or key deposit. By the way, key deposit, if you by the end of the tenancy return all the keys in a proper condition, you must get your key deposit in full back. So the landlord cannot use this deposit for any other purposes except the keys. So in this procedure of the exchange key, most likely your agent gonna be there. At least I always, if I have opportunity, if it's I always plan to be there, and I always come and help my clients. Also, it's I want to suggest you one very important step in the stage, in the moving stage. When you receive the key, go to the apartment first time as already a tenant, and do the inspection of the property. If it's going to be your agent, he's most likely going to do it. At least I'm always doing this. I always try to find some damages, some scratches on the floor, some damages to the walls or to the paint on the walls, and I do the pictures. I send it to my clients and ask them to send to the landlord just for their reference, because when you're gonna move out, especially if it's some any of damage deposited involved, every undocumented damage that you didn't let your landlord know about when you move in, it's going to be counting as you done this damage. So you're going to be responsible for this. To avoid this, always check the property, check the condition of appliances, and do the picture of any damages and ask them if it's need to be repaired. Because sometimes landlord even they don't know what's happening there. They rely on their agent. Some landlords not even in Canada, they not physically see the property. So be proactive in this case and protect your interest. And after that, bring your stuff and enjoy your new home. So this is the steps that how you're gonna rent any property in province of Ontario or and or Greater Toronto Area specifically. So again, it's honest conversation with yourself when you're asking the questions about your future home, and put the answers which is describe your future home and the area where you're going to live. Second, it's preparation of the documentation. So you're preparing the package that comes with your offer for lease. So it's working, credit, and reference information, plus any extra. To me, all this, it's like I would say you're creating your tenant business card. The third, actually, it's a hunting stage. It's the most fun in this process. The first stage, it's negotiation and securing the deal. And the fifth, it's moving. So now you're preparing and making the move to your new home. And after that, you're gonna enjoy your new home. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed and you have a lot of good information about living, buying, selling, and renting properties in Greater Toronto Area. If you still have questions or you want to discuss your next move on Toronto real estate market in the next 1 to 100 days, just give me a call, send me a text, or email me, or simply leave a comment under this video, and I will contact you and we will talk about yours situation and how you could get all your real estate goals in fast, secure, and most lucrative for you way. Thank you and see you next time.